spring.
Happy spring, everybody.
Happy spring. Yeah, we've been experiencing a very busy market. I think there's a lot of activity at homes. Like we just had an open house in Dover last weekend for our own listing. And there were like 40 parties that came through the door within the 2 days.
Yeah.
We are under contract now within like a few days.
Mm-hmm.
And we had multiple offers. So coming from that side, it's interesting to see that it's definitely busy and picking up. There are a lot of interested buyers out in the market right now. And then on the buy side, we are seeing, you know, it's challenging for buyers right now.
So challenging. It seems like it's kind of across the board too, because as we talk to people, friends of ours, as we talk to colleagues and title people, like everybody is saying that they're going through these same challenges, and we were hoping that this spring was going to be a little bit different than last spring.
We're hoping buyers would be able to do full inspections, like with every offer, you know, negotiating a little bit, but we've seen a jump in the market for sure.
We definitely
have. Definitely like, it feels like COVID times, kind of. In some scenarios it does.
I know there's like 50 cars out front and at an open house.
50 cars in drives, and like there's
like lineups outside of
there's
people.
offer deadlines right now. We're seeing offer deadlines for the end of the weekend. But you know, something that we're taking away for buyers, like not to be discouraged at all, because we are speaking to our buyers and making sure that we're having those conversations of setting expectations and talking about really fun and cool tools we can use to customize an offer to get accepted. It ends up being the buyer's decision, because they have to feel comfortable with the amount that they're offering, and these fun, you know, things that we could put in a contract that can help seal the deal for the seller. But it's just about having conversations with our clients, our buyers, and just letting them know, like, hey, this is the market that we're in. You still want a home, we want to help you, but this is the reality of what we're facing, and here are some ways that we can get creative.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I guess we can share a little bit about what we've been seeing that's getting accepted, like for people. You know, an offer that we had been working with the other day, a house that we missed out on. The buyers that got that house, they were doing home inspections for informational only, and they were covering like a big appraisal gap, and so like that worked really well for the seller because it was guaranteeing that money in their pocket. They were okay with them doing the inspection, but they were glad to like have that extra, you know, $5,000 or $10,000 that if the property appraised low, that they were going to still get that extra money. It seems like that's the biggest thing for people, because when you're offering over, say property's listed at 300 and you offer 315, it's almost like you know, it's a question of like whether you'll get that, unless the buyer is saying, hey, you know, I have an extra $15,000 if needed, if the property appraises less than what we're saying we're going to buy it for. So they're saying I have that extra $15,000 that I will bring to the table if I need to. So they're cementing that in for their buyers. So that's what I've been noticing as almost like a quote unquote trump card for people right now, because that seems to be more important than not doing inspections for sellers.
Yeah, because they're guaranteed that amount regardless.
Yeah.
And I think that the appraisers right now are pulling comps from the past, you know, several years and months. So like things are still strong, but obviously we're not appraisers. We don't have that. We don't have the crystal ball to know what the appraisal is going to come in at. But if you're doing your job as the seller agent, you should be listing it at a price that is in market. But yeah, I mean, that just gives the extra assurance to the buyer or the sellers that, hey, if it does appraise a little under, like the buyers are willing to cover the gap, and we'll still get this amount that we were wanting. And so yeah, that I think that's true too. That's like kind of confirming the price that they're going to offer. But yeah, it's crazy. Even like the other week with our other client who went to go see the open house you went to with him, 32 parties came through that open house. They had 4 offers, and it yielded 1 under contract and then 1 backup position, and they were great offers from what I know, obviously. So things are still competitive, and I think obviously with the continued low inventory, there's just the buyers are even more ready to go than ever. But I feel like right now for sellers, if there are people out there that are thinking like, I'm gonna wait until June, until July to list my home, I really think that's a bad idea for a seller right now, because you're missing out on this these few weeks that we're heading into where buyers are still waiting, and I mean, do you want to be a seller competing with a bunch of other listings, or do you want to be the one house on the market that everyone wants?
Right.
So I think that that's a good takeaway for sellers right now.
Yeah. I think another good takeaway for sellers too is like they're nervous about where they're going to go, and that is causing like such a backlog of people that like are thinking that they want to sell but they're not sure where to go.
Yeah.
They're not but I think the big takeaway for them for that is like sit down with us and talk about the different ways that we can protect you, because I have never had a seller who ended up homeless, that didn't find a place to go. Like we always work it out. And worst case scenario, if we can't find a place to go, we build it into the contract that you don't have to sell. Last case scenario, obviously the intention is, yes, we'll sell, yes, we'll find you a place. But understanding that like there are protections that we can put in place, and because there are buyers out there that are so excited to get into a new home, they are willing to wait that
They'll
time.
be flexible.
Yeah, because like a lot of them are renting right now, so they have a little bit of flexibility, or they're maybe living with their parents right now. So
or maybe they could live with their parents for a couple months. Like there's
Yeah.
so many opportunities, and it's just worth a conversation to see. Even the offer that one of our buyers didn't get accepted today, actually we just heard, that listing is subject to the sellers moving into their new home in June. So there's still a few months out that they're going to be living at the house, which is just that's an example of how contracts can be structured and how listings themselves can be structured to help support the sellers get to where they need to be.
Right, exactly. And actually something I just thought about too is we have the quick buy program where people can like rent we can sell and then they can rent back, or or like they can sell or they can and rent back, or they can get like a guaranteed offer for their house, so that way they know that they have those funds coming in. So like there are lots of options that we can work with you in order to figure out like what that custom tailored plan is for your particular situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So don't dismay, don't despair. We will all get through this challenging market together, and I think we just all need to try to work together as much as we can.
Yeah, and I think also for people who want to buy, and they're not sure if they should be buying right now in this market, because it's an interesting market to be getting into as a first-time home buyer. That's also a great opportunity to speak with us and have your questions answered, because we might advise you not to buy right now if you're certain circumstances with your lifestyle or situation. If we don't think that lines up to buying a home right now, we'll let you know. We're going to be fully transparent and honest with you. If you love to like travel and you're planning to be studying abroad in the next year, or if like you're going to school, I don't know, there's so many moving parts when it comes to knowing if you're ready to buy a home or not. Or are you ready to buy a single family home or a condo? Like, would you rather be in a condo association and have the maintenance and all that stuff kind of taken care of for you on the exterior? Of course you have to pay a monthly fee for that, but I don't know, everyone has their own situation as a buyer, and knowing where you should be looking and knowing what you're prepared for is a good first step.
Yeah, for sure.
Right now we're checking with our buyers, making sure that they're aware of the market that we're in, and preparing them for these situations, so that way they're not surprised and shocked when they go ahead and put an offer in, and they're not, they might be in the middle of the mix or under, under.
I think you kind of mentioned this a little bit before, where like we're meeting with them to help set their expectations, so that they understand that it's likely that we'll have to make a few offers before one sticks.